And this is what I always ask everybody to come to the city workshop where you can give all your input into everything, and come to the city meeting to make sure we understood your input and everything, but instead of Facebook or somewhere like that. I do appreciate y'all's time and dedication, concern for the city of Darien. First item on the agenda is roll call. Everybody's present. I do appreciate y'all's time and your dedication also. Next one will be the agenda. Did we see any mistakes or anything, any comments or questions on the agenda? Any comments or questions on the agenda? Okay, next one, same thing with the minutes of our previous meeting. Given that being the August 24th work session, August 25th regular call meeting, any comments or discussion?
There's a mistake on the agenda.
Ma'am?
There's a mistake on the agenda.
Where at?
New business, number 6A, R1 C2, number C1 C2.
No, ma'am, I checked into that, and we'll get with you in just a minute.
We were just talking about that.
It's R1.
It is R1.
C1.
No, ma'am, it's R1.
I do have one question. Will you turn it up?
There's the map over there, it's R1.
Just have the same.
Don't give it to me.
It's hot in here. I know we're trying to save money over here. We're trying to air that. I know we're trying to save on our lighting. It's on that, I think it's on the control right there, the wall.
I have questions. You know what? You said by Jimmy. I see what you're doing.
I'm gonna sit
I
back
guess y'all better get together.
It's going to be an item, so. Thank you, I do appreciate it. Okay, any comments or questions on the minutes from our previous meetings? Okay, moving right along. City manager, correct, there's no public hearing?
None there.
Thank you, sir, and no visitor presentation?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. And no unfinished business?
That's correct.
I do appreciate council for your dedication to getting things taken care of in a timely manner. I do appreciate that. Next is new business. Okay, here's where it's going to slow down. Yes, sir. Consider zoning change request for 2006, 2008 14 George Drive from a R1 to a C2. And we will take action on this tomorrow night.
That's correct.
And I did check into that also myself, but we lengthy discussion on it. But when that new map was accepted in, and correct me if I'm wrong, when that new map was accepted in, partials were changed, but you were still, whoever was on that partial, if they had a business, they were able to remain in business with their business. But yeah, if they closed it down, then they fall back under the R1. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. The use was maintained. In other words, if you want me to, I'll go through the history of it. If you want me to.
Please do.
Yeah, and it is confusing. I'll give you that. It's confusing. All right. So when the CRC was doing our comprehensive plan back in 2018, spring of 2018, they were finalizing. We realized there were actually there was a zoning map dated 2016 that was on our website. There was a zoning map on the wall over here, and it's still there. It's just under the new zoning map. It was dated 2008 or 2010. The CRC had conducted our review and creation of our comprehensive plan using the 2016 map. So, planning and zoning, according to the Zoning Procedures Act, they advertised the hearing and held the hearing on input on the zoning maps. Commissioner Fontello was chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission at the time. That was done on April the 10th of 2018. Planning Commission voted to recommend the adoption of the 2016 map. That came on May the 15th, following month, to City Council the council voted unanimously to adopt the 2016 map. Now, what that did is the overwhelming parcels in the city remained exactly the same. Not a lot changed. But some parcels did change in accordance with the comprehensive plan. And Dr. Payne's parcel was one of those that changed. It was C1. And when that map was enacted and the new zoning implementations were brought about, then that parcel became R1. Now, when the government by its own action changes zoning designation, it can't then go to Dr. Payne and say, okay, you're now R1, you have to close your business. That doesn't work that way. Her use is grandfathered in. Now, if the property is sold, it will be an R1 designation. And if you remember, we did a really lengthy presentation on the comprehensive plan. CRC came in and did that. What their overall and long-term plan for the city of Darien is, and we adopted that comprehensive plan. It was well thought out and well done. And part of that was redesigning. Some of those parcels were C1, some were RMH that were removed. And Mayor, I think you took issue with some of that.
Still don't
part of the
know where to
comprehensive
get one
plan.
now, but still.
So there was a lot of debate and discussion about it, in other words. But that map was adopted on May 15th, 2018. We found those minutes and it was adopted unanimously. So that's the confusion. Dr. Payne is correct. At one point it was C1 prior to the adoption of the essentially overhauling Darien zoning classification in accordance with the comprehensive plan. So it is R1 now, although her uses are still allowed as C1 while she owns it. So that's a little bit of the confusion there. And planning and zoning did understand that, and they took that up and considered all that at their hearing.
So can I ask a few questions, or can I talk now?
That's up to the mayor.
What's that?
What was the question?
She wants to ask some questions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, if you would step to the podium.
So I didn't, with the planning and zoning meeting, I was not aware of that. And when I talked with Kieran, he said at the planning and zoning meeting, and I know he's not here because of his eyes, thank you for having me, that he was not able to be here, but he was said that we were grandfathered in as a C1, much like Sugar Marsh, much like the bed and breakfast, and then we have the Darien River House, which is right across the street from the Cyprian Church. So I have a little bit of a step-by-step speech to go through for everybody here, but is that correct that all of them are now R1?
That's correct.
So-
That's the correct map right
So the
there.
Darien River House is now
That's
R1?
correct.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if it is sold, because it was sold recently, so that can never be anything.
It would have to go through a rezoning petition.
So it can't be.
It can be a home
It can be
or
a-
a bed and breakfast.
Could it
Bed and
be, could
breakfasts
it
are
be a
allowed in
restaurant? Because could it be a restaurant with a liquor license?
Restaurants are not allowed in R1, if that would require a rezoning petition.
Because it's right across the street from the Cyprian too.
Well, that's right.
That's-
That's within 300 feet.
Okay, so, and I am still a little confused on this.
If you don't mind, the process we normally go through, we'll have planning and zoning present their recommendation, and then you as the petitioner will bring you, they don't know what the recommendation plan and zoning is yet. Well, I think Mr. Skeen was there, so he probably heard it, but the rest of them don't know what it is. So if you don't mind, then we'll bring you up there. That's how you normally do it.
Second, we do that.
Would you like them to go first, or how do you like?
Yes, ma'am, that's usually how we do it. They'll
Oh, whoops.
present their. No, we called you up, and then you'll come up.
Okay, so I'm still a little confused about being that, because I was still under the understanding after the planning and zoning meeting, talking to, I wish Karen was here, that he said that we were grandfathered in. Sugar
Your
Marsh,
uses are grandfathered in. That's
Sugar
correct.
Marsh Cottage
That's
as a
correct.
C1.
No, that's incorrect. It was rezoned to R1.
Okay.
But your uses will not be interrupted.
Okay, so all
You'll
the
have to
uses
continue.
that, so that should.
Anything allowed in C1, you'd be able to do. Your uses, as long as you own it, your uses would not be interrupted.
All right, so let's let planning, I didn't know planning and zoning at first. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, you guys go.
So at this time, I know Mr. McMullen's had eye surgery, so I think the chairman of the commission's here to present the recommendation on this.
Thank you.
We're gonna do that now before we get into it, and then get into the item six. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll bring her up to the
Yeah.
next one.
Kieran did submit a letter, and in his
Hold on
letter.
a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can, thank you.
Well, I'm away from you.
I know, right?
Karen did submit a letter to myself, and I think he provided one to you all as well. He did say that the property, as it is currently operated under a C1, was grandfathered in, but it is not a C1, it's just currently operated as. Dr. Payne did present her petition to the Planning and Zoning Board. There was one motion to approve, and the motion died for lack of a second on this one. Of course, I was there, so if you guys have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Any comments, questions?
And for everybody in here, when you have one vote and you do not have a second, that is a no vote. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yep.
I just wanted to clarify for everybody.
I guess what surprised me on that was when she come before and got it changed over to a C1, it was pretty much unanimous with the board, with the neighborhood and everybody, so now it seems like it's,
What year was that? That was,
I don't know.
that was under, I think Mayor Bluestein actually was the mayor at the time, and that board, that council adopted that.
No.
For the C,
Well, obviously, Mayor, the major change has
What was that,
been the
about?
adoption of a
You
new
were the mayor
comprehensive.
at the time. It was 2012 you were the mayor.
Yeah, but I just been on board.
So the beginning,
I was the mayor then, and everything went, everybody voted for it.
Well, and obviously, the major difference now is the adoption of a new comprehensive plan.
that's correct.
And I would like to add that one of the approval letters was retracted as they were under the impression that they were signing an approval, and they were approval letter under the impression that there was going to be a historic tour being run out of the business. They were not aware of the early hours and the late hours that were being proposed for the
And as far as hours, you got people coming in all hours, not now. Like it is, I mean, like it is with the business you have now, you have people coming in different hours at night and everything. But the coffee shop would be just certain hours. I'll just make sure I got all my,
Yes,
I think I'm still in the dark on what she.
yeah, I'll just make sure I got all my facts straight.
I don't even know what Dr. Payne is coming and asking the council for, actually. I think I'm still,
She wants to open a coffee shop up in, or.
What she's here for tonight is to rezone from R1 to C. Or
well, I've
C2.
heard coffee shop, boutique, late night venue, I've heard all kinds of, I don't,
That's why
maybe her intent when she comes up here, she'll talk about that.
No, thanks.
On that, are you going to go over the other two items on there? Or are you just going to do them one at a
Oh,
time?
we get one done.
Whatever.
That's fine.
They're on the agenda one.
That's fine.
explain the difference in the C1,
Miss, Dr. Payne,
Yes.
to clarify, Councilor Goodyear's, question. I mean, we already know, some of us already know, but just clarify, what exactly are you asking for?
Do you want me to go do my thing? Would you like me to do my thing now?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys good? Thank you.
3 minutes, but I'm on, 3 minutes, y'all.
So I have my, first of all, thank you, and I'd like to clarify everything. That's why I really wanted to speak here, because I've heard rumors too, and you know how sometimes things go, and you want to kind of hear what's going on. So thank you all for being here. So, and for the people that are here to support me. So most of you know me, actually all of you know me, and know some of the things that I've done in the community, and some of the things that I continue to do in the community. So I've heard some rumors around that I'm gonna have late night parties and all that kind of stuff there. Well, you know what? Most of you know that I don't even drink, okay? So let's clarify that. Also, about some of the historic things that we've done in the community. And I just wanted to point this out. We volunteered with Dick Jeffries with the University of Kentucky, Fort Frederica, and Sapelo on some of the days. The Weeping Time, with Lisa DeGrasse, with Mayor Bubba Hodges, and also the Mayor Johnson of Savannah, bringing that all together. We've also volunteered with Friends of Sapelo, Altamaha Riverkeeper, the Friends of Fort King George, Georgia Lower Altamaha Historic Society, Ashland Tilly, sat on the board of the chamber of the YMCA, the Buckingham Police, the 5K race, the American Legion, the Lions Club, in many meetings. We've also donated our stuff to the Burden of Dairy Museum when they just opened it up. So to say that anything that is done on 206, 208, 14 North Drive is anything but for the community and for the people of this is incorrect. This is my home, and I would do nothing to jeopardize my home. And those of you that know me know that. And since 2007, when I moved to McIntosh and made it my home, I've done nothing but that. So what I would like to do is, first of all, the planning and zoning meeting, there was all sorts of even rumors then that I was going to build a pop onto the building. I'm not changing any structure of the buildings. As you know, when I purchased the property in 2012 and it became a C1 with Mayor Hodges at the time, there was no issues with any of that. Okay. I had none. Okay. From that, and I love the Davises, Mr. Davis, those of you that have been here a long time know Mr. Davis. He's since passed away, but he said we're learning to hate the property because of all the weeds. We do, but we've done a lot of work to that property. You've seen it. Mrs. Davis, prior to us opening up the shop there, Mrs. Davis actually had an art gallery. Some of you may have purchased her stuff. She's a wonderful artist. So in 2012, I opened up a chiropractic shop, and then the second one that is EasyDot is a drug and alcohol testing consortium. Okay, we work with the McIntosh County School System, we work with the Glen School System, and we're now working with RISA with the state of Georgia to keep our kids drug-free. Sometimes we have people that come there late at night with a drug issue. We've never had one complaint.
I guess, ma'am, I'm sorry for interrupting, but here again, like, what are you asking us
What I would
for?
like to do.
What are you trying to open up or do? What are you wanting from the council? What are you?
And what's your hours?
I mean, what are you trying to open up?
So get to the point. You get to the point.
I didn't think I understand your background and I appreciate that,
But I think it's important that people understand, because like you've heard a lot of weird rumors going around, it's
but,
important.
so
that
that's what
people-
you're here to state your case. You're here to tell us what you're really wanting to do.
So what I wanted to do is to continue on the tradition that I have for the county. I would like to open up a little coffee shop. The front part where I have all of the beautiful garden area is, I would like it to be a little coffee shop, eventually serve sandwiches. When I talked with Kieran, he told me to talk to the health department in McIntosh. I discussed with him a bunch of different options. Okay? What I needed to do package, because he discussed the wine shop, how they do their packaged food and all of that, versus an actual sit-down little coffee shop. We don't have a lot of space. We don't intend to have a lot of space. We're not building on that. All I want to do is have the right to have a small little coffee shop. Serve food down the road. Yes, I would like to serve food. Do I want a full-blown restaurant? Absolutely not. The same thing that I've done for years there, having the community come in for the Blessing of the Fleet. You guys have all been there, and have the little low country bowl and all of that. I would like to do that. I have tons of people walk by in traffic now that I bring in on the weekends and show them the house and show them the office and show them all the local people that sell their stuff in the office. I would just like to continue that. In order for me to continue it, it has to be a C2. One of the things that planning and zoning brought up is they were concerned what would happen if I died in a junkyard. I guess I like this one, but if a junkyard or something like that opened up. And what, you can't do it. And what Karen said point blank, by making it a C2, they would have to go to the city and to you guys.
Same thing you're doing now.
Yeah, to go to you guys and say, okay, Dr. Pace needs a bucket, I'd like to open up a junkyard. And you guys would say no. The other thing I would like to point out too, unlike all of the other businesses, Sugar Marsh Cottage, the bed and breakfast, they are so important for making Darien and keeping Darien quaint. And so is my practice. And so is this coffee shop. They'll walk by and they'll see something really quaint for Darien.
I'm very curious of this. I mean, I agree, but we have a coffee shop right across the street, but I'm
We have great
curious.
seafood restaurants.
Right,
That's
but
okay.
I'm curious, are you still going to continue practicing your chiropractic business, or are you just trying to branch out to different venues? I mean,
No, so what I've done, and you know, of
What are you
course,
trying to
COVID.
do?
Well, what I'm trying to do, hopefully with you guys, what I'm trying to do is with the first of all, the chiropractic and the EasyDot business. With the COVID and what has happened over the last couple of years, we are by appointment only. Most of our business is mobile now. Most of our business is mobile. We contract with 11 out of the 15 tech colleges. We work with RISA, so most of our business now is mobile and by appointment only. So it would not affect at all with the coffee shop at all. So that would be by appointment only. So these are things that I've sat down with Karen, with the health inspector, with different business people, and thought about. This isn't something willy-nilly. This is something that I thought about for well over a year. And I've been working slowly on making sure that this would not only be a good fit for myself, and I could do it properly and make it something proud for the city of Darien, and make it something that would be an addition to all the other things that are going on in the city of Darien, but also something that I could do myself and make sure it was successful and something for Darien to be proud of. I've taken a lot of time for this.
What hours are you looking at?
For now, what I would like to do is Thursday through Sunday. I have a split hour in the morning, so I've got lots of requests from teachers from Glenn County, is to do split hour in the morning from 6 to 9, okay? And then from 3 till 7, and then on the weekends, I would like to extend that on till 10 o'clock at night. And then on Sunday, it would be only open after church, and that would be Thursday through Sunday is all I'm looking to do right now.
So that's sit-in, not take out sit-in?
Outside in the gardens. When it's cold, it's mostly summer. And then we have a couple of places to sit on the inside of the office.
This was my action.
I think, if I'm not correct, did
So like
planning and
that.
zoning,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
look at your issue on parking?
Yep, and we've addressed that as well too. So the square footage, what I gave planning and zoning, the square footage that we're using inside the building is 7 parking spaces, and that covers that. Now, here's something that I wanted to bring up too. At the height of my chiropractic practice, I was seeing up to 70 people a day. So 70 people coming in with vehicles, and not all of them are going to clump together in a car. They're going to be driving different cars. When my neighbor across the alley moved there on a permanent basis, she built a fence, which is understandable. And the only issue she had with me at that time with up to 70 people a day coming through and parking, was that people were parking too close to the fence. So I discussed it with her, and I made signs that said, please keep 5 feet away from the fence, pay for them and put them along our fence, and I've never had another issue with that. So I've never had an issue with parking. So now we're actually taking the parking down. We're gonna have less parking, and now with all of the things that the city of Darien is doing to bring in the tourism, to have the walking traffic, most of the traffic that we're going to be getting is going to be that walking traffic coming from 14 George, which is really kind of cool, actually. I mean, everybody has their ups and downs and their arguments and their growth spurts, but you know, when it comes down to it, we are really a big family. You know, we all got to sit down at the dinner table together.
I'm understanding you're going to have, at your business, you're going to have a chiropractor's office, you're going to have Easy Dot, and you're going to have
The
a
chiropractor,
coffee shop. You're going to have all 3 of these.
I believe
Then you went
something
to,
else.
the chiropractor,
so 70 people a day as a chiropractor, that's a
Well,
busy time.
we had a busy practice, we had a massage therapist in there, we had 3 massage therapists at the time as well too. So 3 massage therapists and a full-time chiropractor.
But now, are you the only chiropractor there?
I am the only chiropractor, I do not have any massage therapists there at all either, and it's by appointment only. And it's because just with, like everybody else, like we're changing with the times, I had to change with what worked for a business model for the chiropractic in Easy Dot. And that was working with the schools and working with the
So,
Department of Transportation.
Bottom line is all 3 businesses will be there.
Oh, but not in the same building.
Yeah.
Yes. it
All
is
in
the
the
same
same
building.
All is in the same-
All the same.
This way.
I just want to
With
remind
different
her about she was talking about the majority of the business was mobile business now.
And that's actually 100% accurate. Easy Dot is 100% mobile. Very rarely do we have anybody in there now that comes in with Easy Dot or Macintosh Chiropractic. Macintosh Chiropractic is by appointment only, which is rare, which is maybe 1 person a week. Most of you know in this room that have tried to get a hold of me can't. I think I tell you a message on my cell phone when it comes to that. So our business is mobile. And you can look at that on the website. You can go to the Department of Transportation and see that as well too.
Well, I think I've got a better understanding.
And she
We've
just
never
said-
talked 30 minutes rather than 3, so I understand it better now.
So all I'm asking for is a C2 so we can have a little coffee shop up front in a beautiful area.
So all the other stuff that people say that you wanna have, that's not so.
No, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. That's it. I look at everything because I have to. Okay? And I explore everything because I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do anything to hurt Darien, hurt the waterfront, or do any of that. I live here, I love it, and I plan on dying here. Okay,
So eventually, would you add some of those things into your new venture, or you just keep it?
Which
Those
is,
things that, that's circling around, you know, like.
I've heard
boutique,
everything.
Like a little boutique or something, or something like that. You will keep it strictly coffee shop?
A coffee shop, which I'm going to serve a little bit of food, that's what I'd like to
Right.
do. I'm not going to have a full-blown restaurant.
Right,
No,
right.
I don't really, and I really should say this, but I will have somebody in to help me make sandwiches, because I'm not a great cook, so people won't come to buy my food. I mean, I'm just saying. And there's some background like that too, so I'm not gonna compete with the restaurant, I'm not gonna compete with all the secret restaurants.
I'm not saying that, I just want to say, make sure what you're saying that you want is what you want.
That's what I'm.
Well, but you have to remember, if this property is rezoned, and what she wants now changes, and it's allowed in that zoning designation, she can do it.
That's what I was saying.
So, you know, it's not, I mean, I appreciate her being honest and telling us what she wants now, but if that's rezoned, and she sells it, it's rezoned, the buyer can put a restaurant, bar, anything allowed to
And I
see.
think the residents around you, I'm looking at letters that people have written
You
to
know,
the council and constituents have come to us. I mean, there's letters written to us about, they don't want that to happen.
We
Because it is
don't-
a residential.
And we don't currently have a mechanism for a use variance, which would be,
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, we don't currently have a mechanism for a use variance, which is,
You can explain.
seeking a variance to allow a use currently not permitted in R1. Our ordinances currently don't have that mechanism. In fact, it's actually prohibited from seeking a use variance. So, what we have are conformance variances, and you've heard some of those, or the height requirement and things like that. But we don't allow currently a use variance. And, if we did, that would probably be the perfect mechanism for you to seek. I mean, that may be something this board wants to look at. A use variance will lay if the property were sold, it would revert back to R1 and, not continue that designation. I'm not saying that you would do that, but this body always has to think of that slippery slope, that when it is rezoned, that's fine, that's permanent. And that is what it is.
I think the planning and zoning brought that up also. They brought it up several times. Karen brought it up. There was even,
To be rezoned back to a C1?
Yeah.
I think your analysis is completely different. I mean, just look at the names of the zones. C1 is a neighborhood commercial zone.
Right.
That's what C1 is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
And that's
we can
what
argue
she had
that.
been.
C2 is,
She got grandfathered in.
her use is grandfather, but she's asking for a C2,
I
general
understand
commercial. And listen, I have no reason to doubt Dr. Manning. Like Councilman Skeens, her reputation's impeccable. But if the property's sold,
Yeah.
I don't think any of us want to see a bar there on that corner. But the new owner, if they're
Y'all
C2,
shut that down, if they ask for it, they can shut
It
down.
would have to be sold as a C2. But
If it's
as
rezoned, it's
As it
rezoned.
states now, when she sells that
I'm not
property,
saying they
it's
do
gonna be
that.
R1.
Right, I know, I just didn't know how they would have been aware, but I see what you mean, if it was.
Right.
CRC, we had a whole thing.
Yeah, we did. We had
I don't know how I feel about that.
we had about an hour-long presentation on our new comprehensive plan that about 5 people came to. I mean, we publish all these things, and I know we hear it and we get blasted on social media. Well, all they say is come to the meetings. But really, come to the meetings. I mean, it's all out there.
Is it more about having the C2 in concern, I'm just questioning, like having to have food or having the commercial kitchen?
Well, see, it's not the coffee shop that we question,
Yeah.
it's the C2 that we question.
Okay.
Would you not
I can't
Thank
hear
you.
you. Take your
do a
mask down.
permit?
I can't hear you. Everybody take your mask
You know
down.
what? I apologize. I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Scott.
I'll just like to speak for a minute. My name is Scotty Lingerfeld. I've been a resident here in this neighborhood for about 16 years, a resident of McIntosh longer than that. And really shortly, I just want to say the history that I know of all of this town and this small city and really the whole entire McIntosh community is it's always had a history of residential and commercial working together. It's a small town, everybody wears a million hats, that means they're in residence and they're in business probably too. And for years and years, starting with September days, this has been commercial, residential, working together, so I just want to remind us of that. And then my question, just I wanted to clarify, if someone were to come by it and it was a C2, would they have to get a permit to pour beer and wine?
Through the
Is it
state,
Always.
too close to a church that it won't be able to
And
pour?
would they have to get a permit
or is it?
pour liquor?
Karen said it was. I mean, Karen said that it was, I mean, not
He said that we have to
everything.
measure it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it said
I
already.
didn't know the big deal, okay, that's fine.
Well, actually, that's just for off property.
But that would still be
the same
coming to us for a liquor license, or beer and wine to the city. But, hang on, look at
And if
it.
it was another person getting a business permit, they also would have to come to you as well, is that correct?
They can get a business license if it's permitted in that zone, and we really can't deny it if it's permitted. And just for a
Well,
second,
is the
Let me read
alcohol
some-
license separate from the business
well, let
license?
me just tell you what C2 allows. I think that'd be good for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
Here's what, we're asking to be rezoned to C2. These are some of the uses in C2. Any use permitted in C1, which is a chiropractor's office, generally neighborhood commercial type activity. But in C1, bars and liquor package stores,
Second page.
newspaper printers, outdoor advertising signs, photo engraving and finishing, upholstering shops, veterinarian, small animal hospitals and kennels, retail or service businesses catering directly to the consumer, vehicle repair, sales and service, truck and heavy equipment repairing, overhaul and rental, car laundry using assembly line type of process or other specialized progressive service, frozen food lockers and ice plants, plumbing shops and supply yards. I mean, we're talking a lot of activity that would be allowed on that property. And I'm not sure how the neighbors would feel about that may be supporting it now, if the lumber supply yard opened up yet.
Okay,
Probably wouldn't like it.
so you're saying that if a new owner came forward with the C2 already
Yes,
zoning
those are all
and applied
permitted.
for a permit for liquor and beer and car garages, that y'all would by law have to give it to them?
If there's no
Because-
reason not to grant it, we have to grant it. If your use is permitted in that area and you apply for a business
Well,
license,
it's too close to the
without a legal reason not to.
Yeah, you're right,
I mean, this is tough, it's
I
tough.
know, and I mean, I have a neighbor across the street from me, Joanne Vera. She has a business across the street from my home, right in the middle of
That's
our
correct.
residential
And
section.
I think you came in a little bit late, and I told Dr. Payne, if you want to open a bed and breakfast, your current zoning allows
Well, I wanted to comment because, things like that are good things in our neighborhood.
it. And they're allowed.
And there are good things for tourists. The things like a small coffee shop that's on this side, that our residents can walk to on this side, like the residents can walk to one on that side, is really great for the tourism as well. It's a great addition to, great asset to our natural resources that we market for our tourism to come in and enjoy all of our districts. So, thank you for hearing me, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
So, just to clarify, passing off to breathe on everybody around here, sorry. Just trying to be correct. So just to clarify, so the bed and breakfast that serves coffee, fruit, and alcohol is okay in a C1?
It's a boarding house that can serve breakfast. I don't know if they serve alcohol or not.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's a
sure.
different.
That's a different,
That's a
license. They have to have a different
different
license for that. We've not licensed them, so
Okay, so they've done something.
They don't sell, they don't have that.
I don't know. Can't answer
They
that
didn't
question.
come to the city to get
But
a,
boarding houses of 6 rooms or less are allowed in all.
So, again, back to,
Dr. Payne, here's what we gotta look at. Nobody's questioning you. You're an awesome person. I think everybody
this is about you being awesome, it's about having the due diligence and
I understand. Let me just pose something to you. Everybody in this room who lives in this area, God forbid, and we don't like to think this way, but we have to on this body.
So do I.
God forbid, if something happened to you and Wes and y'all got in a car crash tonight and didn't make it, Lord forbid, whoever got that property from you, if this is zone C2, can put a lumber supply yard in there.
So
I don't think anybody in this room would like that.
But across the street at Clay's Restaurant, you can have a strip bar right now.
No, ma'am, that's not what it is.
But, no.
But anything allowed in C2 is because it's already
But
C2.
that is a C2, so at Clay's Restaurant, there could be a strip bar there.
Well, those are six. I see where you're coming from. I
I
mean,
think we all do, Tanya, we do see where
I just
we're
want-
from, but we
sorry.
just
So you go
gotta.
ahead.
Yeah, I just want the best for the community and the city. And I also would like a chance to have a small coffee shop, serve some coffee, have the tourists come in.
Seniors are begging for early morning coffee. You got the Jiffy Mart,
I think we all understand what you're saying. We talked.
But
I'm over the two times we've talked.
They're saying the aftermath
Thank you,
is
ma'am.
what's considered.
thank you for your consideration.
Y'all have any more? All right, next up, thank you, ma'am, we do appreciate everybody's time and input on this. That's what the workshops are for. Okay, next item is consider variance for 200C 14 George Drive to place an elevator on the exterior eastern wall of the townhouse. Turn it over to you, city manager.
Well, let's call Ms. Shepherd up on this. This is, I think, a variance from the setback requirement. Is that correct, Ms. Shepherd?
Yeah, it's going on that right side of the alleyway, or in the alleyway, I should say. So, Ms. Rollerson presented it, and she's had professionals come in and look at it, and that's the only place that it can go. And it will go all the way to the top of her condo. I don't know if you are aware, there's a open roof up there, that if they put it on that back side, that it would not be able to go into the back side. And she did ask for the variance request, and the board voted to recommend
What's
approval.
currently prohibiting it is the side setback, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
so she's asking for a variance from that setback requirement.
Yes.
And the recommendation of planning and zoning was approval on that?
It was unanimously.
Okay, this is, where it says, it's going to be on the side of the building, so it won't be blocking the alleyway, won't be blocking the walkway or roadway. And I do like where it says, according to the contractor, the elevator cannot be accommodated inside nor on the back of the building. So it does tell me there that she did, the homeowner did try to put it other places, but it wasn't available to do it. It's not because she didn't want it there. The other one is a 5x5, which she wants a 5x5 elevator shaft or a 5x5 mechanical room, and that's all on her property, so it won't be taking up any space. Hydraulic equipment will go next to the shaft. The outside will be brick to match the exterior building. Okay, so all that looks good. We haven't had any complaints or naysayers about it or anything.
No, in fact, Mayor, this is common area for the townhomes there, and the other townhome owners have written letters in
All these
support.
letters are for.
And then her neighbor, Dr.
They're in
Dave,
favor
on the
of
other
it.
side.
Absolutely. They're all in our packet.
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Robinson, you got anything you'd like to say?
No, except, or I need help getting up.
We don't know you got to put in and all, but, okay. Well, I got your paperwork here that says, your request and everything, and your neighbors has got their paperwork here, they're in approval. Another neighbor in approval. Another neighbor, in approval.
We got a lot of accolades.
And no, it's just outside border of my property, and I have no objections to the addition, so I don't see any naysayers on that one. So, any comments or questions? Any comments or questions?
You know your property tax is gonna go up.
Now, this tears up, and you gonna keep that on our fire department like that.
Yeah, they get over this quick on this.
Any more comments, questions? Next item on the agenda is, consider various requests for 201 Broad Street, place of Pergola. on the front side of the Darien Dockside Inn.
I think it looks fabulous.
This time you got something on that one?
He'll defer to me anyway.
You just grab your chair, stay up here with us.
Take it down so we can hear you.
That's correct. Zach and Terry Rath, presented and I'm not sure that they need a variance request, because it's not actually in fact attached to the building, except that it will infringe on city property, the right of way.
That we don't use.
Right. Yeah, so they did do a request, they want to put a pergola structure outside the building. They provided photographs. It is aesthetically pleasing. They're having some issues with people worried that are staying there of the building itself. And they were there to present that night. We made a motion to recommend approval to the city council, and that passed.
I think it looks fabulous. Everything y'all do around there, especially on Broad Street, being on the DDA now too. I mean, I appreciate your efforts and what you're trying to do to make downtown Darien look aesthetically better, and I think that's a fabulous idea. And what y'all did behind, well, I don't know if y'all know this, but on the back side, the downslope going down to Skippers, they wrote Darien GA and Boxwoods. I mean, I thought it was phenomenal. But, I mean, anything that you can do this aesthetically, it just makes something better for us. I mean, why would we? I think that's a great idea.
And they will, so that they can't drill into the building itself, and correct me if I'm wrong on anything, it could create a whole host of problems. That's a very old building, but they will have concrete under the poles in the front, in the ground.
So y'all need recreation wise?
Hold on a minute, Miss Hunt. I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure everybody else knows the answers to it. This will not block any sidewalks, will not block any parking spaces, and will not block any visibility of the roadway.
The parking spaces.
Yeah, I know that, but I want everybody else to know.
Will still be intact. You can still walk through the structure. Underneath it, it's open.
On the sidewalk.
On the side,
right?
yeah. And then I don't see any issues with visibility at all, because it starts where the building starts.
Right.
And it's not out far enough
Do you
where
have
that
pictures?
stop sign is.
Do you have pictures of it?
Yes, ma'am.
The building. Yes, ma'am.
Our old lady can't see quite that
I'm sorry. Let me turn it for you too. It'll make it a little better.
I've seen some of you walk.
So it is on the sidewalk. Okay, so it is on the sidewalk?
It goes over it, but you can still walk through it.
First Georgia also has something.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what First Georgia has over
It's
there.
done on the list.
Okay, the other question I have, I don't know if it's for Batavia or our city manager. This is not, like I say, just so everybody else will know, I've already checked into it. This is not the same thing that the pizza place was denied.
No.
Okay.
Completely different.
Completely, I've checked into it enough. I know it wasn't, but I wanted everybody else to know. Okay, any more comments or questions on that? We do appreciate everything you're doing, especially the beautification of Darien and bringing tourists in.
And thank y'all for planning and zoning. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Planning, zoning, historical, board, and all my boards and everybody I do. The next one is, item D under new business 6, consider approval of special event permit application for the Darien Fall Fest 2020. And I've really checked into this one. They've checked with everybody and the state, and I think they got their approval that it'd be okay to have it. Am I correct, city manager? I know they're gonna probably be here tomorrow to talk about it some more.
That's correct. They're seeking the, if you remember when we went through the categories of permits.
Yep.
They're seeking the event permit.
It's gonna be challenging, but, they do it the way they were told.
We had a second Saturday, and I think it went well. I think
so,
a lot of people, our town and a lot of people are ready to get back to what we call just a little bit of normalcy. If this helps, then so be it. But Pending something drastic happens, I hope we do, have this fall done. I mean, I think
And
it'd be great.
And they did decide to cancel it, not have it this year, but then they were contacted and told that it would be okay for them to have it. So then they went back through all the other steps of getting it done, because I can tell you from personal experience, COVID is nothing to play with. You even think you got to do it to the doctor. Next thing is, any more comments, questions on that? Comments, questions, anybody? Okay. Next one will be, the Garrett Brothers Appeal and Historic Preservation Commission decision.
Yeah, and Mayor, if I would on this one, if we would do this in a formal setting tomorrow night,
Okay.
the council is sitting in a quasi-judicial role in that, so that would need to be conducted as a formal process on that.
Okay.
We would have the appellant come up and then have a member of the preservation commission. This is a little bit different than we are tonight, so.
Okay.
Excuse me, do you mind if I address this momentarily?
Well,
I
don't
heard
know
you
if
said there
heard-
would be
yeah.
a preservation commission person, member here tomorrow.
Someone to explain the denial, that's right. This is more like a hearing, more than,
Well,
like we were doing earlier.
I will not be available and I am with the commission.
Okay.
Do we need to have a special hearing on that?
No, sir, you can do it as
I
part of the
mean,
meeting, just.
Okay.
Can one of the members be, I mean, it's in writing, I think, your decision, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, I mean, I can comment briefly.
Well, again, that's, I don't know if you heard, this is a little more formal process, because they sit in what's called a quasi-judicial capacity on an appeal from, that's the appellate body.
Well,
Um,
yeah, my only thing was I just wanted to let you know that I will not be able to be present.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
John. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you serve as chair, I think, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We do appreciate everything y'all do.
Yes, and I appreciate it, and I just, remind the public and city council that we are a recommendation board
Right.
Okay.
only.
Well, that's not entirely accurate. You serve a little bit of a different capacity. The zoning board is a recommendatory function. You actually issue or deny the permit, and they can appeal that decision to the council. And there is a marked difference there between those two.
Okay.
But they do have a process
They have
they
to
can
appellate.
go through, correct?
That's what they've done.
All right,
They've
thank
appealed the
you.
decision of, yes, ma'am.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We don't vote on that tomorrow.
Line may seem fine, but it's important.
That's an action item for tomorrow night.
Tomorrow,
I
that's
don't
right.
say action,
Those discussion.
just said discussion tomorrow night.
No, that'd be an action,
That is an action item.
that's an appeal, that's an action.
None of it says.
You have to make a decision.
So we got to be presented something, talk about, vote on it, say no.
Yeah, it's like a trial, that's what I have to do when I hear, that's what you guys do. An appeal is a quasi-judicial function, you have to hear both sides and make a decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Payne wants to ask just one quick question. And then I'll take her out of the room after that.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I just had a question, something that you said, which was kind of interesting. Is you said, well, I'm asking for a C2, but it would be different than if I was asking to receive the result back to a C1, which I.
Absolutely.
Okay, so vote, why not rezone me back to straight C1? Let's do that. That's what I originally was in 2012.
Yeah, if you file that, just file that with the zoning board, yeah, I mean, that meets the character of that neighborhood. That's called a neighborhood commercial zone. I think your hill's a lot lower, than a C2.
Well, let's start with this, because I think this is a good thing. You guys got to do something tomorrow, right?
Well, and I'm also looking at, I'll discuss this with the mayor and council, what's called conditional use permits that allow a use during the lifetime of that owner. that's
So
not
y'all
in
been
conformance
original
with-
to the C1.
Oh, I think that clearly, I think when you look at the purpose of C1, I mean, that's what it is. It's a neighborhood commercial zone. And we, for whatever, I don't know if you saw the frustration on the Muni code has logged up again over here. Won't let me access our ordinances right now. But, a conditional use permit, we don't really have that either right now, but we could look into drafting that. That lets them determine on a case-by-case basis some uses that are not currently allowed. And it's not a rezoning, so it would not run with the land, it would revert back to the zoning once the property is transferred. So I mean, there's some other mechanisms. It's just.
But it's not gonna be overnight, I would imagine.
No, that won't be, I mean, we'll take that long, but yeah, you know, a C1, I think your hurdle's a lot lower than a C2. I know it is, I mean, that's a neighborhood commercial zone.
Well, it wouldn't be any more traffic than comes in and out of Charlie and Dale Potts.
That's probably
Or
right.
the beautiful bed and breakfast.
That's right.
It's just the same thing.
So,
But, you know, I don't mean to impugn Dr. Payne by this, because I think she's a wonderful person. I mean, I just,
I know.
you know, we
I'm
have to
old
think
feisty,
that,
sorry.
we have to think that, like I said, Lord forbid, I could get in a car crash tonight. Lord forbid that happens, and it's C2.
But
Somebody can put a lumber yard there. I mean, they
Well, and I
can't.
understand what you're saying with that, but the flower shop was rezoned as a C2 because it's outside of the normal C2 zone map. I just looked it up. So they were granted the variance for a C2. She's outside of the normal C2, so why, I mean, any C2 area could become a lumber yard. They could tear down this
That's
corner right
That's
here
where
and
we
put
didn't
a
pass
lumber
that.
yard. They could-
So why does it
And
me?
I wasn't here when that was rezoned C2. I probably
But
would
not-
disagree with that.
But,
One of the other things too is that back in 2012, when I was a C1, you know, that was with Mayor Hodges as well too. So I'm asking for a C2 for the same discretion that everybody else received. And to say that God forbid I died, everybody's been talking about me dying.
Well, like I said, Lord forbid, you know.
But I have, my faith is in, that's why I come to these meetings. My faith is in, with these council meeting, with the future council meeting, that they have the same vision that I have for the city of Darien, the same vision that each and every one of you have for the city of Darien. So my faith is that you guys will always do the right thing. So I don't think even if I throw it tomorrow, that you guys will do anything incorrect and allow anything incorrect.
Well,
And I expect the same thing.
it looks like Canyon Creek has a C2 variance.
If you don't mind, state your
I
name.
can't hear you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like Canyon subdivision has a C2 variance. Like, who'd want a lumber yard over there? I mean, there's several different outside of the areas that I can pull
What are
up
you
the zoning
talking
map
about?
right here.
Yes, sir, behind there on the wall.
Huh?
Just right there on the wall.
Yeah, right up there in the corner.
Yeah, that, again, don't know how that got, that's before my time, I don't know. Don't necessarily agree with that C2 designation either, but it is what it is.
All I'm asking is for a
That's not the city,
consideration
though.
of what already exists. Because
Yeah, that's how the county wanted to do it.
as it's free with all of those, you have to remember that I was on commercial one for a decade. So I'm just asking for the
We
same,
didn't have nothing to do with that.
I'm just asking for the same,
it's really not the same, but we'll look into it. I think that's the best thing to say.
versus what their garage possible.
But I appreciate your passion, because I think y'all are all here, but now you're very passionate at all our meetings for Mr. Lucas and all that stuff, but I appreciate your
We love the
passion.
city, we love the city, we love
You know,
the city.
And again, back to that, we had a real lengthy meeting during the presentation of the comprehensive plan.
And I don't,
Why it was done that way, what it was designed to
And I don't think
accomplish
it's-
long-term.
they don't
And, you
pay
know,
attention
that would have been good to.
I think that's stretched it out.
We're not counting a lot. And unfortunately, we might be on 5 days. And we're always here the weekdays, so we need a lot of what you guys do. But I'm fine.
Any more comments, questions?
no, sir.
Comments, questions? Meeting adjourned.
Well, there we go.